Hello, wise humans. This is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com, and today talking with you about a third option beyond fight or flight. And this is something important especially when it seems like there are limitations or there's a lot to worry about, or you need to take things super seriously, or things are getting crazy. That's when we tend to go habitually into fight or flight. What I mean by that is not necessarily picking a fight, but getting into that mode where you feel like you need to go head to head with something right then. Maybe you don't, or you need to run away from it or avoid it. Maybe there's yet a third way. What is that? Well, that's what I'll be talking about today. It's called freeze or flow. There are actually two ways to look at it. And I think that's true of any of the modes of being. There's always going to be a gradation between a higher level of the option and then the highest level of skillfulness. So here the skillful level would be the flow state. Freeze can be skillful too. Anyway, what is it? What am I talking about? Let's talk about an animal first, because you know I love nature. That's where I am right now. Love to be outside. I think I feel calmer when I'm outside. It's easier for me to feel tuned in with myself, with the way there are cycles with nature, with life. And maybe it's not always easy, but certainly beautiful. So the animal example would be, I'm going to talk about a rabbit, because rabbits are great. Now you might think rabbits don't fight. You might think, okay, they're good at running away. You might be able to picture them freezing. They're very good at that. But what about fighting? And here, back in I think it was the 70s, President Jimmy Carter was just fishing on just a regular calm day on a lake in a boat. He had photographers nearby, or else nobody would probably believe what happened next. But a rabbit jumped into the lake and came straight at him toward his boat, and he had to fend it off, splashing water at it to get it to go away. And photographers did capture the scene. Like I said, it just sounds outrageous. But that rabbit was, I think, pursued by dogs. So here we had an example of both the fight and the flight. Originally, the rabbit was running away from the dogs. Then it ended up in the water and then attacking or heading right toward President Jimmy Carter. And it was not in a friendly way, according to the president. So you can see some of the different options there. And you might say, sometimes we don't have a choice. Okay, that could be true. Let me give one more example of, again, from nature. One day I was on a walk with our family dog, and the dog and I usually were accustomed to this particular route that we were taking. And I noticed before I got to a certain part of the road, we were walking alongside the road, just not on the road, it was just for cars, but there was just the edge of the road space. And then off to our left was the park, sort of a wild area. And I could see up ahead there was a great blue heron, a very tall bird. It must have been at least 3.5 feet tall, over 1 meter tall. And I could see it, and it was standing perfectly still. It was doing the freeze thing. And in that moment, I really respected that bird. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep my telepathic mind with the dog. The dog is actually, he was very telepathic. He's passed on now. But to give you an idea, I could train him for new tricks just by thinking of an idea. We're going to jump over that fence, and we would do it. He was that good, that tuned in. So I would just avoid, in this case, sending him any image that I had just received that there's a great blue heron there. So I did two things simultaneously with my mind. With one part of my mind, I just sent respect to the great blue heron. I see you, I'm going to block you. It's as if you're invisible. We're going to walk right past you. To the dog, I just kept broadcasting the usual telepathic indication. Everything's fine. We're on our walk. It's good. So that continued. And anyway, it worked great. I was able to walk right past the great blue heron. The heron was able to just keep doing the freeze thing. But I sensed something really noble, quite deep and transcendent in the attitude of that great blue heron. It seemed like it knew what I was doing. If things had gone awry, sure, it could have flown away if it had to. So its life wasn't in danger. I think it knew that. I think it knew that I had seen it, but I was not planning to give its secret away. And so that's kind of cool when you recognize that animals are capable of going into that freeze state, and they can do it in a flow state way. They can, okay, what's the difference then with freeze and flow? Good question. For me, the freeze might contain a little bit of angst and nervousness. So a rabbit might be totally still, but its heart might be pounding, knowing that dogs are chasing it. It's taking a risk to stay perfectly still rather than run. The great blue heron, I felt like it was in a flow state. I felt like when we walked past it, it seemed in a zen-like state. And it was something, I can't really prove it, but I could feel it in the same way I know that I was able to communicate with both the great blue heron and the family dog. So this is kind of nice when you know that you've got that kind of a connection. So how do we attain that kind of a connection? If you're feeling like you're getting triggered a lot, that's a sign. If you feel like I got to run away or I got to fight these guys, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have to fight or run away. And this is the big third option. Now, in real life with other humans, you might not be able to freeze, but you sure can get into the flow state, find your flow. And coincidentally, I was just grocery shopping and I saw a card today, Find Your Flow. And I thought, oh, that is so perfect, because I was planning to do this video today. Yeah. So finding the flow is like that. It's just like seeing indications, maybe signs and synchronicity, that you've got more assistance and help than you might realize. You might, like from the great blue heron point of view, it could feel like, oh, I can just hang out here. I don't have to fly away. That lady with the dog, she's doing a great job just concealing me and keeping me invisible. Great, we got this. So it's when you're in that state of flow, it's different. You might not feel as triggered as you normally would. You might think, oh, I'm always triggered, but maybe you don't need to be. Maybe there's that Zen-like way of being. And so how do we do it? Okay, there is a meditation that I like to do to access this, and basically it's involving slowing thoughts down. I think I've done this one probably a number of times on videos, but I think it's different each time. Always for me it's different because I have a different intention going into it. In addition to, of course, my favorite question, how good can it get? The reason for that is whatever I'm intending, and questions are perfect, I know I'll see the answer to that question. And I know it because when you ask nature a question, as John Archibald Wheeler, the physicist, contemporary of Albert Einstein, would say, nature always answers. Definitely it does. Might not be right away, or it might be, but in any case, you'll get the answer, I'll get the answer. So to go into this meditation, I know that I'll be asking how good can it get, and in this case of whatever the scenario might be, I need a miracle, right? So fighting it or fleeing from it may not produce the miracle. My highest miracle outcomes occur when I go into this Zen flow state. And I think of it as just going into a place of no thought where I end up accessing the absolute, which feels like love when I stay there long enough. I won't be doing 20 minutes of this on the video today, but you can keep practicing. And the job that you're doing when you do this meditation is just see if you can just last for a few minutes. Don't worry about 20 minutes, but I notice when I hit the 20-minute mark, amazing things happen. I can start feeling such a Zen bliss state that it's really hard to even contemplate leaving it. So that's, if you're wondering what is it like, that's what it's like for me. But it is a place of no thought. This is also an ultimate protection zone, so you can go, if you're feeling attacked, just take a moment, go into no thoughts. I start by slowing my thoughts down, so I'll be watching thoughts like they're clouds in the sky, and I just let them float away, and I can start feeling like, okay, the sky is clear, no thoughts. And another way to do it is just slowing the thoughts down. So I'll usually do a bit of both, slow the thoughts down first, and then just clear them out completely. Sometimes they might pop in, and then I just gently dismiss it, let it go and dissipate, go away again. So that's what I do. And then as I come out of this meditation, remember, going into it, I had the intention, how good can it get, attaining this flow state. Coming back out, I actually feel a little bit different, especially if I did it more than 2 or 3 minutes. If it's like 20 minutes, wow. Then I'll come out and I'll feel like this is a whole new me, it's a whole new reality. And actually, this is often the case when I'm knowing how good can it get. I know that's the intention I went in with. I'm ready for whatever may come. It's kind of like going through a revolving door and you don't know where you're going to come out. Now, I know with a real revolving door, you do know where you're going to come out, but it feels magical. It feels like you're in this state where you're accessing, you've got instant, immediate access to every infinite possibility from the absolute vantage point. You're hanging out with the absolute. You're hanging out with the infinite eternal. That's where time stops and it becomes simultaneously infinite, which is sort of a mind blower of a concept, but that's what it feels like to me. So when you come back out, you're able to then know, I'm in a new reality, I'm a new version of me. I can actually feel that I'm in a flow state, that I am loved, that I am supported, that I'm in relationship with all that is, and that I'm ready to let go of anything that I thought might be a problem. I'm ready to let go and just see, where does this take us? So until next time, I hope you'll keep asking whatever questions you want the answer to. But you can also add, how good can it get, to whatever else you're doing, and hopefully get the best possible results. Love you so very, very much, and take good care.